Hello, and welcome to another wonderful install video from yours truly. Today I'm going to be installing the 3 solar panels that I received from Renogy Solar working together. So they're just 100 watt 12 volt panels, and I'm going to integrate them into my electrical system, but today I'll show you how to mount them on top of the van. First thing you want to do is get the panels up on top of the roof, make sure that they're going to fit up there, and that everything is going to be aligned the way that you'd like them to be. And as you can see, this works out quite well. Once you've got your panels placed exactly where you want them, just go through, grab a marker, and mark out where all of your mounting holes are going to be. So the way that we're going to mount the panels to the van is using these expansion nuts, which you can get directly from Renogy's install manuals. There's a link to Home Depot, so you get the exact product that Renogy recommends for mounting to vans and RVs. And all it is a rubber grommet, basically, with a small brass fitting underneath. And when you screw the machine screw into it, it will suck that brass fitting up this direction, which expands the rubber and then creates a really tight seal around the metal sheet, or the sheet metal of your van. Technically it should be watertight, but just to be safe, I'm also going to silicone around the edges here. When you mount it, it'll look like this. It has the machine screw, a flat washer, and a lock washer, so that way the panel doesn't fall off. The other thing is that it also says in the manufacturer specification for this that this is slightly less than 3/8 inch outside diameter of this part, because that's what goes into the van. So here I've got a 3/8 inch drill bit, and just to double check, it's super crude, but you know, just make sure that the edges feel like they're flush and that this is going to work before you put a hole in your van. So once you're ready to drill, you find your previously marked hole right here and just start drilling. Now if you want to be extra safe, you could use a punch to get it started, but I've been having luck and my bit's not been wandering that much. You don't want to push too hard. You want to let the bit do the work, otherwise you have a tendency to make the sheet metal bow in, and then it causes a lot of ridges and stuff that you have to file down later. Okay, and then just to make sure, take your expansion nut, and there you go. Here's an example of a hole that I said sometimes if you muscle it too much you get these ridges on here, so now I have to take a file and file that down. Just make sure that you don't scuff up the paint around that hole too. Okay, I've got all of my mounting expansion nuts in place. Now before we can put the panels up here, there's just one other thing I wanted to point out, is that once you get the panels up here, you still have to get a wire that goes from the outside in the panels down to the inside of your van to your batteries or charge controller. And luckily these holes were already here. This one looked like this one, and luckily I just punched right through it. That's just metal tape. And then I found another 3/4 inch grommet, so now I can put my solar cables through here, not have to worry about the sharp metal edges. I will have to fill this with silicone though, because my wires won't be a perfect circular fit, and so water can still get in there. And so I'll get all the panels in, I'll get the wires routed, and then silicone that. One other thing to check before you actually get your panels up there is to put them in roughly the same configuration as they'll be on your van, and then you want to make sure that all of your cables will actually fit. So I have a 12 volt system, and each of these panels is capable of putting out 12 volts, which means I need to put them all in parallel. So I got this cable harness that will connect up to 4 solar panels in parallel into this one that will actually eventually go to the charge controller. So I'll hook these up down here just to show you exactly how that looks. Okay, so I've got them all hooked up in parallel now. And then the connectors for this is hidden underneath this panel, of course. And then just to show you, here's my multimeter. It's actually putting out 20.1 volts, which is okay because my charge controller can adjust that and take control of the voltage. Okay, I thought of one more thing before I put the panels up. These are the extension cables that will go from the solar panel into the charge controller. And before I get panels up here, we might as well fish these in through first. So, as I said earlier, there's not a perfect seal around these cables. So I will have to, once everything is put in place, silicone them or put some putty in there. Actually, I'll probably put putty. That is a great idea. So now that I'm done siliconing everything, I just put my panels back up here. And as you can see, I've screwed down my machine screws so that they are flush. And again, you just have the screw, the flat washer, and the lock washer. They fit down inside there. Then you can use a cordless drill or just a regular hand screwdriver and tighten everything down. And now you have solar panels.